The regular meeting of the Charter Commission Amendment Review Committee will now begin.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this virtual meeting of the Charter Commission Amendment Review Committee. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes, section 13D.021, due to the declared local health pandemic. The city will be recording and posting this meeting to the city's website and YouTube channel as a means of increasing public access and transparency. This meeting is public and subject to the open meeting law. For the record, my name is Peter Ginder, and I am the chair of the Charter Commission Amendment Review Committee, and I will now call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum.
Commissioner Kozak.
Here, present.
Commissioner Mecci.
Present.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Present.
Commission Chair Clegg. And Chair Ginder.
Present.
There are 4 members present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. And I would note for the clerk that Chair Clegg contacted me yesterday, and because of prior work commitment, he did not know if he would be able to make this meeting, or at best he would be late. So anyway, we can now proceed to our agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Commissioners, the agenda for today's meeting is before us. May I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved, Rubenstein.
Is there a second?
Second, Mecci.
Is there any discussion before the clerk calls the roll? Seeing and hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Kozak.
Aye.
Commissioner Mecci.
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Aye.
And Chair Ginder.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
That motion passes and the agenda is adopted. The next item on the agenda is acceptance of the minutes. There is one set of minutes to accept from our meeting on June 10th, 2021. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved, Kozak.
Second, Rubenstein.
Is there any discussion? Hearing no further discussion or seeing no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Kozak.
Aye.
Commissioner Mecci.
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Aye.
And Chair Ginder.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
And that motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the chair's report. I have nothing to add specifically, except I do want to thank those of you who have showed up today for the meeting. I know we've been busy with the redistricting, so there's been a lot on our plate. Item 5 on the agenda is considering a proposal to amend the charter moving municipal elections to even-numbered years. You've had a chance to review that. You know that there were attachments attached to this, an article from the Manhattan Institute. And if you look deeper into it, we have a lot of information from when this originally came to the Charter Commission back in 2017. So there is a report from the city attorney, and there are other reports contained in that. I hope people have had a chance to at least review some of that. At any rate, is there any discussion on this motion or on this matter at this time?
Mr. Chair, this is Casey Carl, the city clerk's office, and oh, I'm sorry. I see that Commissioner Rubenstein has raised her hand. I will defer to her.
Oh, I was
Okay.
after you. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chair, just as city clerk, I was going to, and I'm sorry that I have not been better prepared for this. I was to suggest with you all, we are fortunate to have former state representative Ray Dean, who was the chair of the House Committee on Elections, working with my office the past several months to help with transition, orientation, and onboarding. And one of the things I had mentioned to Mr. Dean was this proposal that has been before the Charter Commission for a number of years now, and suggested that because the statutes do identify a process, if this body chose to move forward on this proposal, it would require some study, some research, a lot of technical analysis of systems, ballot production, layout, design, timing. There are statutory times, as you are aware, about how an implementation of a change in election years could be made, and those types of issues. And it would be well for the body, I think, to have someone who could pull together the research, the analysis, input from the relevant experts from the Secretary of State's office, Hennepin County Auditor's office, the city's own elections office, to help inform any debate that the body might have on this proposal. And so I wanted to say that on behalf of my office, which includes the Elections and Voter Services Division, we were hopeful to, if this body wishes to move that proposal forward, work with you in forming what has been done on similar proposals to amend the charter in the past, provide some professional expertise to a working group that could bring forward a more fleshed out version of a charter amendment proposal for consideration at the appropriate time. So just wanted to put that on the record before the body as you consider what actions you will take as the amendment review group. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. And I would note that I know that Chair Clegg's desire on this, which I agree with, is because this is going to be a fairly complicated issue, I think, both from just the mechanics of this, one ballot, two ballots, how is this handled, the process we go through to abide by statute, which even years do we move it to? Is it the governor's year or the presidential election years? There are a lot of issues involved in this that I think his desire, which I share, is that there would be a motion at some point at the end of this discussion that we would refer this back to the Charter Commission for the appointment of a study group that would work with the clerk's office and, as need be, to really fully vet the issues on this and then come back with a recommendation to the full council. Ms. Rubenstein, did you still have a discussion?
Just a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that Mr. Carl has answered my question, which was I had reviewed not only the article that we were sent, but also the memo from the city attorney's office from 4 years ago, and was very concerned, at the very least, to know whether things had changed in terms of the technology since we first looked at this issue. And so the very thing I was looking for was to have a study group to look at it further, because I didn't see how we could possibly make a decision based on what we have to date. I just wanted to add that the article that we received is, to me, not at all persuasive, and I hope there are other materials that we can look at. This is the author is from the Manhattan Institute. That's an organization that has significant funding from the Koch brothers, and I'm not sure that their views would be quite compatible with ours, but we could wait for more study. That was all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yes, I'm
Chair.
aware of the background of the Manhattan Institute, so I shared some of those concerns, and I know that there are other articles out there. And I know that I was going to ask Mr. Carl a question on how the city handled the ballot in the recent special election for the council members. I think Councilmember Osmond, because that was a ranked choice matter, and then I believe it was also at the time of a general election. So I don't know physically how that ballot was handled. Maybe Mr. Carl could have just explained that.
Very, very briefly, Mr. Chair, because I know Commissioner Kozak is in queue. I will say that hitherto we had been advised that the city's ballot, which as this body is aware is quite long with 25 races, all ranked choice voting, would be difficult, if not impossible, within the existing scope of the law to merge with either the presidential or gubernatorial ballot. We were successful in putting the special election for just one ward, the 6th ward, as you note, when Councilmember Osmond was elected midterm. So we did prove that we can make the technology, the newer upgraded technology, can accommodate a mix of ballot styles. The question then is how far can we push that? And could we do a full statewide gubernatorial midterm election ballot with a full 25-seat municipal, city of Minneapolis ballot? Those may require changes in state law that currently limit the number of sheets, front and back, size of ballots, font size, things like that. So we may need to get either legislative change and or rule-making change that's done with the Secretary of State in terms of the production of ballots. But those are questions I think that our study group could take on.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Kozak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As usual, Mr. Carl has anticipated my question and answered it. So that's what I was going to ask about, because I recall from 3-4 years ago, our discussion, that was one of the big impediments to doing this was the ballot size because of ranked choice voting. So as long as I think that should be our number one priority, to make sure that we can actually do this within current law. And if we can't, then what do we have to change? So thank you, Casey.
Is there any other discussion at this point?
Chair Ginder,
Yes.
will there be an opportunity for the public to make a comment at the end of this meeting? I was not able to sign up online. There was no option to sign up to speak.
Mr. Chair, I would note, this is Casey, we don't have public discussion at the committee meetings. The Charter Commission as a body does allow for general public comments at their meetings, which are the first Wednesdays of each month. So I leave to you your discretion and the discretion of the committee about that. But the reason that it was not allowed to sign up is that the committee doesn't take public comment. The Charter Commission as a body does.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, I got muted. I think that I would go along with the standard procedure at this time and defer any public comment until the full commission hearing. So with that, if there's any other discussion from the members, and if there is none, I would be looking for a motion, if one of the members would make it, that would refer this matter back to the full Charter Commission, and with the request that the Charter Commission appoint a study group for the purposes of studying this issue.
So moved, Rubenstein.
And I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Kozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Mecci,
I think she's having some muting problems, madam.
okay. I will-
I got it. I'm here.
We can hear you. Thank you. Commissioner Rubenstein
Aye.
and Chair Ginder.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Thank you. That motion passes. I don't believe we have any other items on our agenda. Therefore, with that, we've concluded all the business that's to come before this Charter Commission's Amendment Review Committee, and without any objection, we stand adjourned. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Casey.